Tales of the Shire has disappointed a lot of Tolkien fans. When we first heard of it, it had a lot of hype behind it because it was just supposed to be a very heartwarming, cute, cozy life sim set in the Shire with some of your favorite characters. But as time has gone on, it's really just turned out to be a Lord of the Rings cash grab. And unfortunately for the developers over the past couple of weeks, they have faced a lot of backlash. And it's really only going to get worse because of their own actions. Because not only is this a Sweet Baby Inc. affiliated title, but they are now blocking and silencing their critics on social media. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, of course, you guys know I am a giant Tolkien fan. I love Middle-earth, I love the Shire, I love the Hobbits. I have a cat named Bilbo, and I absolutely wanted this to come out, and I wanted it to be great. I would love a cozy, cute farming sim set in the Shire. That just sounds magnificent. But unfortunately, this game from the beginning never really looked like it was going to meet our expectations, right? You don't have to have like hyper realistic graphics. You don't have to have top of the line mechanics and systems. It doesn't need to be some like mega game, but at least needs to be a decent quality. And unfortunately, it looks like a PS1 game. A lot of people were pretty disappointed with that. I was willing to see how it would look before like release because I did genuinely want to give this a chance and I wanted it to come out, and I had said maybe they will, polish up these graphics and it will look better by the time it releases because they've delayed it multiple times. But now that we're only 2 weeks away from launch, it doesn't look like it's actually gotten any better. It doesn't really look like they have tried to address any of our concerns. And one major problem this game faced was the fact that it completely disregards the source material. I don't really want to call this a Lord of the Rings game. I want to call it a Rings of Power game because they are, disrespecting Tolkien's legacy and his creation. Of course, you do now have like black hobbits, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a bad game, but it just goes to show their heart was not in it for the source material. They just wanted this to try to appeal to as many people as possible because they wanted to sell as many copies as possible, even though by respecting the material, you'd probably have a much better chance of actually selling your product. But they definitely marketed it with like diversity and inclusivity first. And listen, diversity and inclusivity are great when they're done naturally and when they do not happen in a way that disrespects an entire individual's creation. Like, you are able to create something that's similar to the Shire and Hobbits that is, super diverse just without the Lord of the Rings name, if that's really what you want to do. But these types of people do not care about respecting material. They simply care about making as much money as possible. And I was really disappointed to see that this is actually from Weta Workshops because they were the ones who did the props in the movies. And I did used to like them a lot, but apparently their gaming endeavors are not going so good. And they never really cared about Tolkien in the first place, but over the past couple of months, they've been facing problems. I had talked about it in another video. They will be linked down below, but the lead producer had come out and mocked gamers for criticizing DEI narratives being pushed into video games. Calliope Ryder had said, "I promise I've never received a message from a higher up that said needs more diversity so we can get government funding. It's just that games are made by and for a wide range of people with varying experiences. There's no scary cabal forcing devs to add women and POC to games," which of course is just her sitting here and trying to gaslight us. But we know that they are working with Sweet Baby Inc., a company that only exists in order to push DEI narratives into games. They do not care about respecting material. They do not care about respecting fans. We know that Sweet Baby Inc. had actually done sensitivity reading and rewriting on this title. So those are just some major, major red flags, but it gets even worse from there. Not only is this Lord of the Rings game doing really poorly over on Steam right now, now. It's sitting at number 67 in wish lists and 29,439 followers, which you'd think would be much higher given its Tolkien's work, but it is getting wrecked by even brand new franchises and brand new video games like Wu Chang Falling Feathers. Listen, I'm super excited for Wu Chang, but you'd think that Wu Chang, a totally new experience, would be doing a quarter of the numbers that a Lord of the Rings game was doing, but that's not the case because Wu Chang is sitting at number 32 in wish lists and 143,518 followers. So that's definitely a major red flag for the Tales of the Shire team, but they are blocking their critics on social media and they are hiding responses that they personally do not like. We're not talking about them hiding absolutely racist or sexist or disgusting threats and harassing comments towards like developers or the team. Now they're literally just sitting here and hiding mentions of like Sweet Baby Ink and forced diversity. Black transgender hobbits, no thanks. I mean, this one is just, nope, Sweet Baby Ink detected. I would rather save my money than spend it on propaganda. That's just somebody warning you that this is a Sweet Baby Ink title. Of course, though, the team behind Tales of the Shire doesn't want there to be a big mention of Sweet Baby Ink because they know there is such a massive boycott where people will just ultimately not purchase a game or a product that has any narrative consultancy work done on it. It doesn't even matter if it's Sweet Baby Ink or Black Girl Gamers. If you have narrative consultants sanitizing your product, yeah, that's going to lead a lot of people to boycott your game or ultimately just say, maybe I'll buy it on sale when it's like $5, but that wasn't like some disgusting comment. That wasn't some rude comment. It was just saying, hey, I'm not going to monetarily support a Sweet Baby Ink game. Now, the running theme on most of their new posts is that they'll hide a couple of responses, but then it seems that they're giving up because if you go here, I mean, there are tons of people saying things like, sweet, my baby will play incognito, so there's no spoilers for me. No Sweet Baby Ink games for me. I will not be buying this. There are some people saying, their pre-orders are sold out and they want it to release on different consoles. Like this would have been a really great Switch 2 game, but that's not happening. Sweet Baby Ink Infected, obviously, hard pass. And there is still some excitement surrounding this, but clearly not the amount that you'd think they would have for a game and a franchise of this caliber. On some of their posts, they're not hiding responses, but then on others, they're just going down a massive list. Eat a bag of dicks, lady. I think that's funny. Non-binary, SBI, like this isn't some absolutely disgusting or gross comment. It's just somebody saying they are not looking to purchase it. DEI trash, you won't make it. You betray Tolkien, no beer, no pipes or tobacco, and then all of this DEI crap, F this. So it just seems that they are really not looking to listen to feedback over on their X and also on their Steam forums. Now, their Steam forums, they're not really heavily moderating, but they are still locking down some of these threads, like this one that says, seems gamers are back at it again with their woke right whining. It's getting predictable at this point. Woke right creators and curators like DEI detected signal to their fan base that this game is woke. Their drones swarm the discussion forums to complain about something most actual gamers don't give a fuck about, and people have to keep reporting the posts to clean up the dreck. Now, you would think that this person would be banned or suspended for causing drama. That's typically the excuse. Oh my gosh, they're just baiting out an argument, but who gets banned? The person who says that it will sell like 50 copies. The person who brings up games like Concord and how it couldn't even pull more than 1,400 players, and this game is probably going to pull even a fraction of that. No, they're only cleaning up the forums when it's people who are not defending them and who are not simping for them. So I can't say I'm particularly surprised. I have personally been blocked by the official Tales of the Shire account for months at this point, ever since I had called out the lead producer for calling us conspiracy theorists and bigots and haters and just them voicing their general hatred for gamers. So over on their social media, they're trying to silence people, they're hiding responses, they're blocking you, and on their Steam forums, it seems that they're banning a lot of users and locking down a lot of threads. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this, but we're only 2 weeks from release and it is not looking good for this team. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.